All right, let's begin. Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Sauer, and I'm going to be your host for today's Pearl Certification webinar. Today's webinar is The Future of Home Health and Climate Change Improvements, How Contractors and Real Estate Pros Can Help Homeowners Protect Their Homes. Now, before we get started, we wanted to recognize all of the real estate pros and everyone from the contractor community who is joining us today, because we know how valuable your time is. The good news is we guarantee that today's webinar will be enlightening, educational, and even fun. Today's webinar is going to be recorded, as you just heard, because we wanted to allow you to enjoy this webinar and take in all of the information, knowing that you could always refer back to this recording later. We've also decided to do this because it makes it even easier for you to share today's content with your coworkers, as well as any friends or family who may be homeowners who are thinking of becoming homeowners in the future. It's about that time that the host of most webinars actually asks you to take your phones, put them on silent, or put them away. Well, today's webinar is going to be significantly different than most webinars that you've participated in the past. We're actually going to ask you to take out your cell phones. So if you have your cell phones in your purses and your wallets, wherever they are, please take them out, because part of this webinar is going to be interactive and it's going to require your participation. Additionally, once the interactivity has been activated, you will have the ability to submit questions on your phone at any time throughout this webinar. And then once we get to the questions and answer section at the end of this webinar, we're going to run through all of your questions. They're going to be displayed on the screen, and then we're going to look to our panel to decide who the best person is to answer that question. And with that, please take out your cell phones. And now you have two options. One is you can scan this QR code, and it should take you directly to menti.com. Or if you prefer, take out whatever browser you use on your cell phone, Safari, Chrome, and visit www.menti.com. And once you're there, you should see something like this on your cell phone, where it asks you to enter in the code for this particular session. Now, the code for this particular session, now it's unique, is 59843753. No dashes, no spaces, no periods. And go ahead and just put that in to that text box and hit submit. And once you do, you should see on your cell phone this exact slide. It may be a little small up at the top of your screen, but you should see this exact slide. I'll give everyone a couple seconds to run through that. So I see some additional people joining. What you want to do is take out your cell phone. You can either scan that QR code or just go to www.menti.com. You'll see on your cell phone this little text box that says to enter in your code. Enter in the code 59843753. Hit submit, and once you do, you should see this on your cell phone. We're going to go ahead and we're going to move on. So for those of you that have done that, you should now see on your cell phone this map as well as a little blue dot. So go ahead and drag that blue dot to where you're joining us from today. And then go ahead and hit submit. There was some New York, some Pennsylvania. I like, even on the tip of Florida, someone may even be on a boat off the tip of Florida, it looks like. South Carolina, there's some more West Coast people, Oregon, Illinois, Kentucky, another New York. Okay, perfect. So good to know that this is actually functioning. So my next question is really just for agents. So agents, would you be interested in being able to sell your clients' homes for at least 5% more because they have energy efficiency improvements? Absolutely, maybe, or no. So it looks like we have a resounding absolutely. So now transitioning over to contractors. Contractors, would you be interested in getting access to homeowners looking to immediately add energy efficiency improvements and or solar to their homes. The options are absolutely, maybe, or no. Looks like we have another resounding 100% perfect. Well, for 100% of you that selected absolutely on the 2 prior slides, joining me on today's webinar are 3 very knowledgeable people that will be able to explain how to make those things a reality. First, it's my pleasure to introduce Cynthia Adams, the CEO and co-founder of Pearl Certification.
Hello, and welcome everyone. Thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us here on this webinar today. A little bit about me. I have a background in green construction, and I worked as a builder for almost a decade. Prior to starting Pearl, I also ran energy efficiency and renewable energy programs, working with contractor networks. I've been a lead AP, and I currently serve on the National Association of Realtors Sustainability Committee. Resilience, for me, is quite personal. This past January, I watched as the flames sped by neighborhoods here close to where I live in Boulder, Colorado. They were fed by a drought and by record-breaking winds. And the house that I live in was built in the 1970s. It has no air conditioning. And so I have 2 portable AC units that I wheel from room to room over the course of the summer, because summers now are hotter here than they've ever been. So I really look forward to the conversation we're having today, and I hope that Pearl has an opportunity to connect with you all in the future. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. Next, I'd like to introduce the CEO from ClimateChange, Cal Inman.
Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for having me. This is fun. I have a similar background in construction and real estate development, doing single-family homes, multi-family properties, for the last 15 years. I'm a lecturer at UC Berkeley in the Masters in Real Estate Development program. And it was there I came across all these great scientists working on climate change data. And I was always curious how my portfolio was going to be affected by climate change. Is the heat going to go up? Do I need to add AC units to my rental properties? Is there going to be more fire risk in the Berkeley Hills? I'm here in California. Is sea level rise going to be a problem for my office building on the bay? And I didn't really have a place to answer these questions. And so that is kind of where ClimateChange started. And we're 100% focused on providing climate risk data. So what's the probability of flood, fire, extreme precipitation, heat, drought, wind, all these natural hazards? What's the probability of these events happening today and in the future? And so it's critical for investors like me, but also homeowners who don't have any access to this information. So I'm excited about the talk today. Tell you guys a little bit more about what we're doing together. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Cal. Really excited to kind of dive into a little bit of that data later. And then third is Rachel Davis. She is Pearl Certification's Vice President of Product.
Thanks, Michael. Excited to be here today. Like Cal and Cynthia, I have a real personal connection to this, but prior to Pearl, worked in secondary mortgage market, really delivering technology products for key stakeholders. And here at Pearl, work to deliver delightful and amazing products for all our clients, including homeowners, real estate agents, and contractors. And my personal experience in resiliency, I now live in Florida, so hurricanes are always a top of mind now from May all the way through November. And previously, when I lived in Virginia, had basement flooding due to storms and extreme rain that never used to happen. So building resilient homes and helping homeowners understand their risk is both personal and professionally important to me.
Thank you, Rachel. And definitely when you can find a personal interest that combines with a business purpose, you're in the perfect position. So what is the purpose of today's webinar? It's for you to have a better understanding, whether you're an agent or a contractor, as to how clients can have healthy homes and resilience improvements, which can help proactively protect your clients' homes from climate change risks, access their home protection and improvement plans. We're going to be getting into that specifically and showing you how to get that. Connecting your clients to elite contractors and real estate professionals. And I think ultimately the reason why you're here is we want to explain to you and show you how this can benefit you specifically. So we actually have 4 takeaways from today's webinar. So first is, I don't think that anyone has any issues with earning a little bit more money. So we want you to learn how Pearl and ClimateChange's integrated home certification report can help your clients recoup the cost of their energy efficiency improvements at their time of sale, and what that means for your bottom line, whether you are an agent or a contractor. Also, as you probably know, upgrades equals more profit ultimately. So Pearl contractors see an average increase in close rate of 5 to 10%. And Pearl agent partners are differentiating themselves with Pearl's easy-to-use real estate marketing package, where the homes are actually selling for 5% or more on average. We want you to learn how your clients can recover the cost of energy efficiency and resiliency improvements while you can earn more too. If the house winds up selling for more, that's more profit all the way around. So truly a win-win for everybody. The third takeaway is we want you to learn about the benefits of being part of Pearl's real estate and contractor networks, so you can gain priority access to potential clients who are interested in spending the money to improve their home, which again results in higher sale prices, close rates, and commissions. Lastly, we want you to learn how ClimateChange's report and Pearl's Green Door web app, as they're integrated and partnered, helps homeowners learn and understand how to futurize their home and proactively protect their investments, in many cases, their largest investment, using your expert services and Pearl's value-added benefits to grow your specific business. Now it's time for another activity. Go ahead and take out your cell phones. And for those of you that have joined after we started, you'll see up at the very top of this screen, you can go to menti.com and put in this code. So the question that we have for all of you is, according to the National Centers for Environmental Information, how many weather and climate disasters has the US had since 1980? Less than 50, 50 to 100, 101 to 200, 201 to 300, or 300 plus? This will be some good bar trivia. I guarantee the next time you go into a bar, this will be one of the questions that's asked. All right, so we have 50% of you that say 300 plus, 13% 200, oh, even 60%. Okay, it's growing, 60% to 300 plus, 10% the 201 to 300, 20% the 101 to 200, and then 10% at the 50 to 100. So the correct answer is 300 plus. So according to the National Centers for Environmental Information, the NCEI, since 1980, the US has sustained 308 weather and climate disasters. And along those same lines, the minimum damage cost for each of those separate 308 weather and climate disasters was at least how much money? The minimum damage cost for each separate weather and climate disaster. So there are 308 of them. What was the minimum damage cost for each one of those separately? We have about 22%. No one bought on the 1 million. Oh, there's somebody. Okay, 10% at 1 million, 20% at 10 million, 40% of you at 100 million, and then 30% of you at 1 billion. So the correct answer is 1 billion. According to that same organization, the overall damage cost per event reached or exceeded, so this is just the minimum, of $1 billion. Now, I'm not sure how many of you have ever seen $1 billion. I actually had to Google this to see what $1 billion looked like. So we wanted to show you a picture of what the minimum damage cost per acknowledged weather and climate disaster is. Now, to give you some reality on what this means, for $1 billion, if each one of those bills was a $100 bill, this stack of money would weigh 10 tons or 20,000 pounds. And if they were $1 bills, this stack of money would weigh 1,000 tons or 2 million pounds. So now that we know that each weather and climate disaster resulted in at least $1 billion, this stack of money, if we were to add up the damage cost for all 308 weather and climate disasters since 1980, what do you think the cumulative damage cost for all 308 of them would be? Our options are 308 billion, 500 billion, 750 billion, or $1 trillion, or even $2 trillion. So 308 acknowledged events, each of them of $1 billion. What is the cumulative cost? So we have one person at 500 billion, 5 at $1 trillion, and 4 at 2 trillion. So the correct answer is, oh, someone jumped in at the 2 trillion. That is correct, 2 trillion. So as I mentioned, each individual disaster had a minimum of $1 billion in damages, but the cumulative cost for all of them is currently over $2 trillion. Now, along with the financial damage each of these weather and climate disasters caused, one of the saddest parts that I think we'd all recognize is there were over 15,000 unnecessary deaths from these weather and climate disasters. Now, amazingly enough, some of the homeowners in these affected areas either weren't impacted or weren't impacted as much as some of the other homeowners in their communities. And why is that? In many instances, that's because some of the homeowners decided to proactively implement resilience improvements to their homes. This home always comes to mind when I think about resiliency improvements to a house. I'm not sure if many of you have seen pictures or videos of this house. It was all over the news right after Hurricane Michael and appeared to be completely untouched. And then I found it really interesting that when the homeowners were being interviewed, they explained that they researched all the potential weather and climate disasters that could impact them, and then they implemented resilience improvements. And as you can see, their house is really the only one left, so it paid off. But how does a homeowner know which resilience improvements they should invest in to protect their home? And that's why we're all here today. So it is with great pleasure that I'd like to turn this webinar over to Rachel, Cal, and Cynthia, who will be introducing you to Green Door.
Okie dokie. I'm going to say a few words here about Pearl certification, just to give you an introduction on how a customer might end up in Green Door in the first place. I think we hopefully made the point earlier on in the presentation that what Pearl does is we certify high-performing home features, and the reason that we do that is ultimately to help those homes sell and appraise for more. Importantly, we work with contractors, builders, real estate agents, as well as homeowners in order to help them certify their work or their listings. And the way that a homeowner commonly comes to Pearl, at least today, is through one of our business partners. So at the point at which Pearl issues a certification, the homeowner gets an email, and the contractor or the real estate agent is also CC'd on that. And in the email are links to the certification package, the completed appraisal addendum, and a marketing package too, in case the home is going to be listed. Also in that email is a link that the homeowner can click in order to go into their Green Door account. So if it's their first time coming there, of course, they're going to set up their own username and password, but that account then would be pre-populated with information that the contractor or the certification partner has inputted into our system and has been verified as well. So with that bit of an introduction, Rachel, why don't you take the mic next and give people a tour of Green Door and the benefits that would come to their customers with engaging in it.
Thanks, Cynthia. Hopefully everyone's seeing Green Door at the moment. And as Cynthia said, Green Door, powered by Pearl, is the one place for homeowners to understand, manage, maintain, and improve their home. It supports the entire homeownership journey, and when it's time to sell, homeowners can access or even request their Pearl certification package through Green Door. I will walk through the features, ending with climate check, so you can understand the integration there and the opportunity it gives to homeowners and real estate agents and contractors. As a reminder, for contractors, Green Door pulls the homeowner who had previously worked with them back to that contractor. We want to continue to connect the homeowner with the contractor. It's also the place for other homeowners who are looking for high quality contractors to find you, connect with you, and start their journey on improving their home. For real estate agents, Green Door is a place to continue your engagement with previous homeowners and have new homeowners find you. It's also where homeowners can access their Pearl certification package for you to leverage during the marketing of the home. So with that, let me jump in. What you're seeing here is the dashboard, the landing page for a homeowner as they're engaging with Green Door. I'm actually going to start at the My Home Assets section. We'll come back to the My Home section at the end because that's where our climate check integration lives. Within the My Home Assets, this is where a homeowner is really starting to understand what's in their home, what's high performing, and what they may have opportunities for improvement. In this demo home example, this is a home who had a new heat pump installed, so the homeowner is able to see how many Pearl points that's earned them. They get to see that they're in the top 1% of electric heated homes, and they get to see all the characteristics of that heat pump along with any photos that the contractor may have submitted as part of the certification process. What's really exciting in the documents section is this is a place for a homeowner to house documents that they may upload, documents from the contractor, documents from the real estate agent in their Pearl certification package. So what you're initially seeing here is the Pearl certification package, all the valuable assets that a homeowner is receiving as part of that certification. The certification report will have the AI addendum, which will be used during the appraisal process for the appraiser to accurately assess the high performing characteristics of the home. This is fully auto-populated by Pearl during our certification process. It also has the certification package, certification report, which is going to highlight high performing features in the home. For those homeowners who had a contractor certification, so worked with a quality contractor that's part of the Pearl network, the contractor is going to be on the certification report, co-branded so that the homeowner remembers who they used for that installation. Other great features in the Pearl certification package are the marketing material like social media posts, home highlights flyer, house tour cards, as well as critical information for the appraisers, the buyer, and the lender to ensure you're getting the highest value for your home during selling or refinance. I'll also just highlight quickly that contractors can use Green Door to share documents with homeowners, as can real estate agents. Here, we're just demoing contractors sharing documents. And we have a great new feature where homeowners can upload and store any documents, whether that be receipts or maybe warranty information on information in their home to Green Door. So they have one central repository for all those documents that are usually just spread around the home. I want to briefly mention our home investment plan. This is the roadmap for homeowners to build that high performing home. What Pearl does is it looks at the characteristics we know about a home, or based on our knowledge about that home, we generate recommended improvements. So these are opportunities that the homeowner may consider to build out that high performing home. The homeowner can view the details around that improvement. In this example, air sealing, they can add it to their home investment plan, and they can find contractors who are going to do the work. You'll see here, we're illustrating where this homeowner has already worked with a Pearl contractor. And in this case, we continue to drive that homeowner back to you as long as it's a trade that you work in. Otherwise, there are other Pearl contractors who we can recommend. Our maintenance tracker is also a great way for homeowners to continue to have that high performing home once they've invested in it. It's a way for homeowners to build out maintenance tasks. And this is another place where contractors and agents can push maintenance tasks to their homeowners to remind them to continue to maintain that high performing home. Last but not least is the Pearl Partners search. At the top, the homeowner sees right away who they've used previously in the network, and then they have the opportunity to search for contractors or an agent if they don't yet have an agent who they can work with. Now, with our time remaining on the demo, I'm just going to shift back to the My Home section, which is where we get to talk about ClimateChange. So this is where for every homeowner, they're going to see what their scores are across those 5 categories that Cal referenced at the beginning of our webinar. And I know he'll go into a little bit more. The exciting here about our partnership is ClimateChange is really assessing the home's risk, and then Pearl can help them mitigate those risks or look for opportunities to reduce some of these categories. You'll see here in this scenario, there's a few high categories. So in that case, Pearl is going to show some recommendations for the homeowner to mitigate those risks. And these are things that can be built into their home investment plan. It can be as easy as cleaning your gutters. Like if you're at a high risk of storm, making sure you have clear gutters for the water to flow freely away from your foundation is critical. It could be something bigger like battery storage. So maybe the homeowner already has solar and wants to look at getting battery backup installed so that they can build a more resilient home. They can easily add this to their home investment plan and then find contractors in our network who can help them do that work. But this is really where ClimateChange and Pearl plays well together, and we can work well together in educating homeowners and then giving them ways to mitigate those climate risks. The homeowners can always click through to the ClimateChange site to get a full report with the science and the details behind these scores. And with that, I'll turn over to Cal to talk a little bit more about ClimateChange.
Thanks. I love that demo. I mean, look, from my background in commercial real estate, this is exactly what big institutional investors do to manage their assets, protect their assets, and homeowners deserve kind of the same type of platform for their biggest investment in their lives. So I think what Green Door provides homeowners, real estate professionals, and contractors is an incredible opportunity to kind of level the playing field and get individuals the same tools that everyone else uses in the industry, where it's more of a financially driven investment. I'll give you all a kind of high level overview of ClimateChange. If anyone's like a deep science nerd, they can go to climatechange.com and click on our methodologies tab, and you can kind of dig as deep as you want into the science, but I don't want to bore everyone on the call. But very high level, we're a team of data scientists, climatologists, and we aggregate all of the academic and government climate data. So this is accepted data within the field. Bring it into one place, synthesize it, and then search it on your property level to give you insights on how your individual home is going to be affected by these natural hazards or perils. So again, we look at extreme precipitation, extreme heat, fire, flood, drought, and we are adding high wind in later this year. We kind of break the categories up into 2 big sections, total loss or shock hazards. And these are the type of things Michael's talking about, where you have these big natural disasters that cause loss in the homes, trigger insurance policies, and require a lot of improvement after the disaster. So that is kind of obvious: fire, flood, and high wind events. And then the rest of these are we call them more stressor hazards, extreme precipitation or storm, right? Clean your gutters. These are types of things, if you don't take care of it, it will cause depreciation of the asset, increased operating costs, or your monthly net goes up. So again, storm, heat, and then drought. what we do is we rely on all these folks in academia to tell us what the best science is. Again, we bring it in and we communicate that risk to the homeowner. What is the risk to you? And that's just the first step. The second step is how do you protect yourself from this risk? How do you mitigate these risks? What are the resiliency measures we can put in place to reduce these risks? And again, risk for the big stressor or big shock hazards is to, like that home that was standing there, is just to reduce loss, but also can reduce your insurance expenses monthly. So it reduces the monthly cost. And then on these other ones, it's again, all about saving money. That's what it comes back to. So it's protecting your home, protecting your investment, and then saving money. I'm really excited about this partnership because it gives the homeowner all the information in their home and then also allows them to understand the risks so they can protect and harden their home in the future. One thing I will say is our main customer base, the main people that ingest our data are commercial real estate folks. And this is an important part of the due diligence process, understanding risk. And so I think this partnership's cool because it allows the homeowner and the contractor to come in and have the same access that same access to the data that Wall Street has access to and make the same decisions around it. And again, we're not trying to scare folks. Your house is going to blow over. You need to move to another area, but it's more about highlighting risks that are pretty intuitive, quantifying them, putting rails around it, saying, hey, this is how much it's projected to happen in the future, create awareness around it, again, so we can come back and do improvements to our home to reduce those Risks and to reduce our monthly operating expenses. I think we've got a great slide coming up here, Michael, about the amount of financial losses in the future. Now, we've thrown around a lot of big numbers here, and this doesn't mean much to the homeowner, but I will say a few things. Redfin did a study last year. We have a partnership with Redfin, done a bunch of research with them. 2/3 of homeowners are spending money right now on resiliency measures to protect their homes. And I think in the same way, energy efficiency improvements, again, something that's been happening in commercial real estate for a long time. Homeowners are spending a lot of money on this now. There's a lot of awareness within the homeowners, particularly millennials, Gen Z, the new homeowners that are now going to control the entire market, of awareness around climate change, energy efficiency. They read about it in the paper. They're asking the realtors about it. They're asking their contractors about it. They're aware of these improvements. They want this information and they want to spend this money on their homes. So I think giving them the information, one, they deserve to know the same information that folks in commercial real estate have. And two, they want to know. They're asking these questions. So I think this is a great platform to kind of give them answers to those questions that they're asking. So yeah, I'm again super excited about the partnership. Happy to answer any questions. And yeah, I'll give it back to you, Michael.
Can I jump in real quick? One thing, well, looks like I was about to say something anyway, next knowing the slide that's there. A couple of things I think is important for our audience to understand. The Green Door is free. We're not charging homeowners anything to be able to use it. A homeowner does not have to come through one of our B2B partners in order to access Green Door. We have homeowners finding us organically every day and signing up to use Green Door. And we hope at some point that we're connecting them with the service professionals who are in our network. In addition, we have a customer service department that deals directly with homeowners. In fact, we're involved every day, like literally every day, in some sort of an email or a phone conversation with people who want to understand better either how they can properly prepare their house to make the most of it when they put it into the resale market, or how they can make certain upgrades that will increase their level of certification and bring them all of the sort of quality of life benefits that most people want. The other thing to know is that we're not pushing advertising at your customers. There's not like banner ads running in there. There's not, stuff on the side, and we're not packaging up and selling their private information to anybody else in the market. We take our role as a consumer sort of advocate, pretty seriously, as well as an advocate for the high quality businesses that serve those customers. So we're safe. I think is probably the simplest way to put it. We're a safe place for homeowners to learn about how to improve their homes, to connect with really high quality service professionals in contracting and in real estate in order to have the best homeownership experience possible. And these QR codes are up here depending upon who you are, contractor or an agent. Feel free to click it if you'd like to learn more about Pearl, our network, and how you can get engaged. It's really important for us to underscore the quality point. All of the contractors that participate with Pearl are credentialed. It's not strictly a pay to play. So if you are tired of losing bids to low quality, low bid competitors, Pearl can certainly help you with that. And I think we've made it pretty apparent in the demo that Rachel gave that, we're here to help cement the relationship that service professionals have with their existing customers. We want to be that sticky relationship through Green Door that gets them educated and then has them come back to you for future work so that, again, they can improve their quality of life. So those are a few words from me, and then I think we can either open it up for discussion, right, Michael, or maybe some questions.
Yes, we can definitely open up for questions. I see that there's a question in the chat, so I figure we can handle that one first. So one of the participants said, I've applied to become a Pearl agent after receiving my green designation in December. I sent in applications in December and January. Is there an estimate for how long it will take for a Pearl team member to contact me?
You should have been contacted long before now. Typically, we try to have that on like a 1 to 2 day turnaround. What I would recommend is I'll put my email in the chat, and if you send me your name, I will go ahead and get that over to our real estate department. And apologies that the communication broke down there. Thank you for asking.
Great question. And then if you want to, again, just on your cell phone, you can put it in the chat. You can ask through Menti, whatever you prefer. Looks like we have some other people that are putting their emails in the chat as well that they would also like to be contacted. So we'll definitely go ahead and contact you. I will tell you, as we're waiting for some questions to come in, I would say one of the nicest parts that I love about this is honestly the repository. Just about Green Door, I will say as a homeowner, I have a file cabinet, but I'll tell you nothing is filed properly. That when I decide to sell my home, I don't know how challenging it'd be to find everything. So it's nice that everything's there, and especially if there is, if there is a professional that was involved in the transaction, the fact that it automatically gets uploaded into the system, or I could upload it myself, that's a nice repository to have. And Cal, I will tell you, your statistics, I've definitely had an opportunity to dive in deeper into ClimateChange, and I'm an electrical engineer, so I want to dive in a little bit deeper just to kind of understand it. And the fact that Cal has taken all of this data and has been able to synthesize it, like he said, and then not only synthesize it, break it down to a property or area basis. No one's ever done this before. And it's important for a homeowner to know what challenges they may experience so they do spend the money in the correct way. Let's see, we have, so a question for the panelists. Can you give an example of what would come out of a ClimateChange report and then how Pearl responds to that risk?
That sounds like a two-part question. And the first part would be over to you, Cal, with the full report, I think.
Yeah, I think you can use the full report to kind of dive in deep, but I think within the Green Door platform, you could look at something like Cynthia brought up in the beginning, heat risk. We look at how hot is your location today, and what is a hot day, and then how many times a year does this hot day occur? And so where Cynthia sits, she has an increasing amount of hot days, but by 2050, over the next 30 years, she might have a 3x occurrence of these hot days. So this necessitates a lot of home improvements for quality of life, health and safety, those improvements are easy to make with the right home improvement professionals, right? So insulating your home, reducing that heat gain through landscaping, and then HVAC systems. So this is one of those kind of stressor perils that we look at, and it tells you what are the effects in the future, what are the risks of extreme heat, and then how can we help the homeowner mitigate those risks through simple home improvements. So I think that would be one simple example.
A couple of things to pile onto that too. Cal mentioned some really good improvements that one might do if your house has not been built with 90, 100 degree plus summers in mind. One of the things that we know from building science is that air sealing has a role to play in that as well. And most homeowners think about air sealing in terms of making sure that their doors and their windows are sealed. But the biggest bang for your buck in air sealing is usually in the places of the house that homeowners don't go to. And there's a host of other benefits that can come in terms of indoor air quality with that air sealing. So I think, understanding that my particular home is at a risk of X number of super uncomfortable days that will make it virtually impossible for me to sleep at night without air conditioning. That's my house, is step one. And then understanding, okay, what things can I do? What order should I do them in order to mitigate that risk is really how we work together. And I saw a question further up to what is the plan to drive awareness around climate check? And I'm sure that Cal has an answer to that question. I will say for Pearl that we are right now deep in the weeds working on a resilience certification. So right now we have a high-performing home certification that looks specifically at efficiency, solar, and indoor air quality, and some other measures, smart devices and such. But the resilience certification will be also very much grounded in the particular risks that you would face depending upon where your house is located. And we plan to work with insurance companies as well as some federal agencies that are keen on figuring out how to harden our residential building stock. So that's one of the ways that we'll be driving some awareness around climate check, because of course that's understanding what those risks are is really climate check's expertise, and ours is in responding to that and helping people make good decisions with that information.
Yeah, and I think on our end, creating awareness is probably the most important thing we can do is deep integrations with groups like Green Door, and we're kind of on a mission to be included on every real estate listing in the United States and in Canada. And we're making really good progress there, and we're on a lot of big portals, brokerages, and commercial listing sites. So I think hopefully you'll hear a lot more about climate check throughout the year.
Heck yes, we will, Cal. Well, thank you all for joining us for today's Pearl certification webinar. If you'd like to learn more about Pearl Certification's real estate or contractor networks, please visit pearlcertification.com/contact us, or if you've already clicked on that QR code, you can follow that link. If you'd like to learn more about Climate Check, please visit climatecheck.com. Cal has a ton of data on his site for you, and you can also email him at info@climatecheck.com. Have a great rest of your week, and thank you for joining us. Stay safe and take care.